Hi, I'm Kate Barrett, the founder of Shining Light Media and the Email Marketing Academy, and welcome to today's extra special Tuesday Email Marketing Quick Tip video. Now, as you can see, I've got my glasses on today, and that means that there is some reading involved because I asked you for your questions. Now, it's the 5th Tuesday of the month, and that's why we're doing this extra special edition of the Quick Tip video. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump in and answer some of your questions. The first question comes from Irene, and Irene asks, how can you come up with ideas and put together great content week after week? And how much information should be provided in your emails? And that's a great question, Irene. Thank you so much for sending it in. And in terms of answering that question, the amount of content that you put in your emails shouldn't be too much. You want it to be like a window, a shop window, to more information on your website, for example, to drive people through to read the rest of your blog post or to watch a video that you've created. So you want to keep it quite minimal, quite short, quite punchy. People need to be able to get your main message really quickly, within a couple of seconds of them opening the email and skim reading the information. Can they get that main message that you want to convey really quickly? Because remember, people are strapped for time, people are busy. Let them skim read it, jump through to your website for more information. So in terms of the amount of content, that's what you need to be thinking about. Your email is a shop window to more information. Okay, so in terms of coming up with great content week after week, and I'm assuming you send your emails weekly by that comment as well, which is absolutely fantastic, absolutely fine. In terms of coming up with content, the key really is to plan in advance, to plan out a structure for your content so that you can make sure that you're always giving that value. And if you're not sure what will be valuable, relevant, interesting to your audience, ask them. Send out a survey via email. Jump onto social media and ask people who are your target market. What information would they find helpful? And use that to guide the content that you're planning. Now, if you plan 6 to 12 months in advance, you're not going to have that panic and overwhelm of having to plan the content for each email individually. So make sure you plan in advance. That's the key to getting great content week after week. So thank you so much, Irene, for that brilliant question. Now, the next question comes from Miriam, and Miriam asks, I'd like to know what a decent attrition rate is, for example, unsubscribes. So, in terms of the number of people leaving your list, the attrition rate, there are a few ways in which people will leave your list. Unsubscribe rate is one of them. If you can keep it below 2%, you're doing well. Below 1%, you're doing really well. Below 0.5%, you're doing really, really well. You're always going to have some people that unsubscribe. So those are some rough numbers for you on unsubscribes. Another way that people can be removed from your list is if they complain, they press the spam or junk button when they're reading one of your emails. And that is a negative engagement metric. Now, the threshold here is about 0.03%. So 3 in 1,000 people that you send to, if they press that button, you're going to start having deliverability issues in terms of getting your messages to your recipients. So 0.03% there is a great number to keep your complaint rate below. And again, that's a statistic you'll see in your email service provider. So look out for that. So thank you so much, Miriam, for that question, and I hope that answers it for you. Now, the next question and the final question for this video comes from Shim, and I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. And Shim asks, how often should you deliver your emails? And how do you come up with content? So in terms of how often to deliver your emails, that really depends on your strategy. And the key here is if you set expectations on sign up, it doesn't matter what your frequency is. Look at the daily deal sites. They email their subscribers every single day. But that's because they've set expectations that they're going to do that and they're going to send those emails daily, but also because they've got new content to deliver in each of those emails. So it's about setting expectations and having valuable, relevant, interesting content. If you do that, you can send as often as you like. Okay, so that's a little bit of a revelation there. But if you meet that criteria, same as the daily deal sites, they've got new, interesting, relevant, valuable content, people can save money, and they email daily. Okay, so if you have that kind of content weekly, email weekly. If you can keep that consistency, email weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I would recommend emailing at least once a month, and that's at the very, very minimum. I would recommend emailing more frequently than that. You want to keep in the front of subscribers' minds and make sure they think of you in your industry or the products that you sell. Okay, so that's a little tip in terms of frequency of sending your emails. Now, in terms of generating content, I spoke earlier in the previous question about planning your content in advance, and that is the best thing to do to get that consistency. Make sure you're providing that really amazing content, okay? But in terms of coming up with those ideas, absolutely, as I already mentioned, send out a survey to your audience, get on social media, get into other forums and see what questions are being asked. What do your customers and prospects ask you frequently? Check out those questions and use it to inform the content that you're providing. And that way you'll make sure it's really relevant and interesting. So thank you so much for all your questions. And if I didn't get around to your question today, I apologize, and watch out for the next videos coming up next month, because you may well find that your question is answered. Next month, I'm focusing in on increasing the engagement with your email campaigns. So if you want to know how to increase your opens, your clicks, your conversions, that's the Tuesday quick tip video topics that I'm going to be discussing next month. So I will see you there.